In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, cherished, young revolutionary community, peace be upon you. Today, on a historical moment, I want to say a few words regarding you, regarding the residents of the country. After the sacrifice of thousands of lives during the July mass uprising, we are at the dawn of a new election. During the July mass uprising, Bangladesh's young generation, Bangladesh's workers, the regular people of Bangladesh, Bangladeshi expats, and anti-fascist political workers, we all came together to fight for a new Bangladesh. Our demand was the abolishment of the fascist establishment and the formation of a new political system, to change the economics and politics of the fascist establishment into a new democratic, inclusive, and just structure. In the 55 years since the birth of Bangladesh, the political and social establishment that has emerged was based on discrimination. That is why the old system collapsed in July of 2024. This discrimination was not only economic, but was also deeply rooted in every level of political power, social status, application of law, and the distribution of bounty of good times. Those who were in charge of managing the nation, when they came in contact with power, they have only used it to change their own fates. On the other hand, ordinary people, the working class, and the marginalized population in most cases have been deprived. After liberation, the primary promise of the state equality, human dignity, and social justice. But in reality, political loyalty has become the first condition of social and financial success. Within jobs, business, education, security, and even in the justice system, special and illegitimate opportunities have been created for the influential. A syndicate of bureaucrats and corrupt business people close to the administration have used the national treasury, banking system, and development projects to enrich themselves. And they remained busy when it came to the struggle for the primary needs of ordinary people. The development planning of Bangladesh has been centered around capital, Dhaka, in a premeditated way, for the people living in this metropolis and the 20 million surrounding it. All big infrastructure, economic incentives, educational and medical facilities have been developed in this area. And at the head of this, based in the capital, a small wealthy class of people have emerged, those who have divided the national treasury among themselves. But any real development should have been distributed equally within the nation. But demands of towns, villages, and marginalized populations has been left ignored. The July Revolution was a mass uprising against this discriminatory system, whose aim was to break the old system and establish a just state structure. But those who benefited from the previous system have come gathered their old political strength and entered into the electoral arena. All of the abductions, murders, torture, fake charges, and attacks will be tried in court. In the past 15 years, the fascist Hasina has used the entire state apparatus to abduct, murder, imprison without trial, attack, torture, and issue fake charges. In order to do this, they have actively used not only the Awami League, Chatro League, but also all wings of the state, including the police, RAB, BGB, DGFI, NSI, and all other state forces. All organizations, including public administration, the justice system, armed forces have been used to carry out their evil deeds. After the revolution and mass uprising of 2024, all these institutions have collapsed. As a result, some lackeys within the leadership have fled. Some have been brought to justice. Others are still being tried. A lot of military and non-military bureaucrats and judges are engaged in their work. Even though the leadership of the judiciary, civil service, and law enforcement has collapsed, the defense sector is still intact. Although thousands of murderers, looters, and other wrongdoers getting shelter in cantonment, their ability to escape the country from there, the flight of some generals from their posts and seeking shelter in foreign states, etc., has truly been unprecedented for us. We are clearly announcing that all criminals within the armed forces who are involved with kidnappings, murders, torture, corruption, and looting will be tried. After investigation and the judiciary process, they will be brought to justice and punished. After the ousting of the killer Hasina, in order to arrest these people and to maintain order with the power of the magistrate, the armed forces have been deployed throughout the country. Even though Operation Devil Hunt has started, no mentionable actions such as identifying the culprits, recovering the weapons, or arrests have come to fruition. The Missing Persons Commission has worked on over 1850 cases, but unfortunately, those the companions of the fascist who hiding within the armed forces are trying to detract the investigations and prevent the judiciary process by destroying the evidence. In various cases, they are continuously being uncooperative with the intermediate government. We will fight to expel the system of persecution and culture of injustice, and to erase all traces of fascist, Awami notions. One of our responsibilities is the retrieval of lost funds from banks and development projects. During the age of the previous fascist regime, $234 billion been looted and smuggled out of the country. According to Dr. Debriya Bhattacharya, White Papers, Hasina and her Awami lackeys have moved this wealth abroad. This has been a horrific disaster for the country. Even though the interim government has spoken about the effort to retrieve this massive amount of funds, however, due to their negligence and ignorance, they have had no success. Some source bureaucrats and experts, who were beneficiaries of the fascist era, have sabotaged the recovery of this huge amount of state resources. If the citizens give us the responsibility of forming a government, then we will take legal measures to recover the looted and smuggled wealth during Hasina's fascist regime. No individuals or groups involved with the looting and smuggling will be spared. The business groups, bureaucrats, and relatives of the killer Hasina will be brought to justice under the law. For any identified funds related to them that has been smuggled out, we will receive the calculated amount from the tax department, add fines and taxes, and seize any local property up to that value. At the same time, any known looters will be declared enemies of the state, and their wealth will be seized and put under public trust. The newly formed organization will be managed through an efficient and transparent structure by hiring professionals with international standards. Our aim is clear: to end the culture of bribes, corruption, and looting of national treasury, to abolish the economic discrimination and return justice and national wealth back to the people. We have planned with foreign policy as well. We want a foreign policy that is independent of pressure, adopts a balanced position. During the period of the killer Hasina, Bangladesh was bound to a kneeling foreign policy. The country's diplomatic activities were based on the interest of neighboring India. As a result, the foundation of independent, sovereign, and dignified international relations has been shattered. The 15 years of fascist misrule was established, and continued was planned, implemented, and managed from neighboring India, weakening all of Bangladesh's state institutions, turning the government against the people, and sabotage of democratic system. All of this was done as per the wishes of India. For years, India's death squad, the BSF, has murdered hundreds of Bangladeshis along the border, yet the killer Hasina's government has remained silent. The fascist government's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Minister, concerned secretaries, the Director General of the BGB, and many other officers in different positions have testified in favor of India's uncivilized, inhumane actions, and thus spoken out against interests of their own citizens. Even in warring countries, there is no precedent to shoot and kill civilians on its border towards Pakistan. In reality, they turned Bangladesh into a slave state, or puppet state, PN the global stage. At that time, the condition of the state had become very weak on the international stage. As a result, our national interest has been significantly damaged. If the people place their trust on the NCP and give us the responsibility of managing the state, we will significantly reduce the economic and commercial deficit, reduce our dependence on others, and create a balanced diplomatic relationship. We will break the kneeling policy framework of the undemocratic rulers and adopt a self-respecting foreign policy. Other than that, in order to boost our relationship with the countries out South Asia, we will revive SAARC and we will try to join ASEAN. We will develop our political, economic, and strategic relationships with the Muslim world. In order to solve the problems of Bangladeshi expats all around the world, and to serve them in a prompt manner, we will establish missions and increase the number of consulates. Mutual respect, fairness, and cooperation will be the mainstay of our foreign policy. We have also made plans for our armed forces. The murderer Hasina, during her rule, has used the armed forces against the common people of her own country, instead of the external enemies of the state for party interests. As a result, our armed forces have become practically weak and ineffective. While our neighboring countries are moving ahead in the competition to build fifth-generation fighter jets, we are still limited to the capabilities of the third generation. In the current structure, about 70% of the defense budget is spent on salaries and allowances of officials and employees, which has become an ineffective and unstable system for the state in the long run. It is necessary to remove these structural limitations to make the defense sector effective and future-oriented. If we can form a government, we will completely restructure the defense system. Our goal will not be to increase the number of forces, but to increase their quality. The entire defense system will be gradually transformed into a modern technology-based high-tech force. At the same time, compulsory military training will be introduced for the country's capable youth above 18 years of age. This will develop a nationwide, people-based public defense system. As a result, the state's resistance against hegemonic forces will increase, and in the long run, the waste of state investment will be reduced. The responsibility of a welfare state is to ensure consumer goods at fair prices for every citizen. When people are struggling with unbridled commodity prices, the role of the government will be to actively restore market order. The price of daily commodities in Bangladesh is always the highest among South Asian countries. This is because a corrupt circle of businessmen, politicians and bureaucrats in this country pockets a lot of money by controlling the market. If we are given the responsibility of running the government, we will work with special emphasis on keeping commodity prices stable. The syndicate of businessmen, politicians and bureaucrats who create artificial crises will be broken. Such evil circles will be brought to justice by making laws. If artificial market control, manipulation and illegal hoarding are proven, the criminals will face strict punishment. The government will ensure that farmers can sell their crops and agricultural products without paying any bribes or charges to anyone, and that wholesalers do not have to pay a single taka anywhere. If these steps are strictly ensured, it is possible to ensure fair prices for agricultural products in the market. Due to bribers and middlemen, the common people across the country have to pay an unreasonable additional price for products. The government will expand the fair price market system and the OMS program, so that the lower and middle class people can easily buy products at affordable prices. Imports from multiple alternative sources will be increased to reduce dependence on the neighboring large country, so that no one can put us in danger by tying up products. To increase competition in the market, new business entrepreneurs will be identified and provided with easy loans and government support. Digital market system will be taken to modernize the cold storage system for raw materials, and effective measures will be taken to ensure fast transportation and rationalize its cost. Goods will be purchased and stored by the government in advance for seasonal products. Our goal is to establish a fair, transparent, and people-friendly market system. During the previous authoritarian government, the police force of Bangladesh practically became a party force. Due to their oppression, people started calling the police like the Awami League, Hatro League, and Jubo League as the Police League. It is difficult to find a family in the country who has not been a victim of police torture at that time. The police also committed widespread atrocities during the July uprising. If we form the government, all the police officers and members who were involved in murder, torture, oppression, false cases, embezzlement and bribery during the July Revolution, and for 15 years before and after it, will be brought to justice. In addition to completing all such trials, Bangladesh police will be completely transformed and restructured. Serving the country and the people will be the only mantra of the police. The culture of partisan narrow-mindedness in maintaining law and order will be buried, and the force will be developed as a trusted ally of public safety. Seeking justice in Bangladesh today is a long, tiring, and often frustrating journey. When an oppressed person wants to stand up against injustice, he starts a fight not only against an opponent, but also against a complex and corrupt system. Reluctance to take cases at the police station, lengthy investigations, waiting for dates after dates in the court, and the pressure of huge expenditure have all combined to make justice in this country out of reach. And as soon as bribery sets foot in the courtroom, illegal transactions begin. Money for documents, money to get dates, money to get orders, the word of justice has been silenced in the great hubbub of the bribery market. According to Transparency International, more than 60% of people are forced to pay bribes while seeking justice. Although the government's Legal Aid Act provides free legal aid to the poor and oppressed, the poor do not get any of its benefits. In reality, the common man gets trapped in a web of judges, lawyers, and brokers, wandering in a directionless circle. In most cases, seeking justice becomes a punishment and suffering for the justice seekers. Year after year, money-earning time, physical strength, and dreams of life are lost while wandering around the courtroom. Slow justice makes stronger. Today, the justice system is corrupted by political influence and opportunistic circles of money. We have seen the same shadow of darkness from the district court to the highest Supreme Court. It has become more widespread and degraded during the fascist regime. The cases of those in power are quickly disposed of. The cases of those in the opposition party continue to hang for years due to this terrible evil practice. The judicial system of Bangladesh has collapsed today. They have lost all their glory, dignity, and credibility. The entire judicial system must be overhauled by appointing fair, skilled, and educated judges at all levels, from the lower courts to the Supreme Court. The number of judges must be increased manifold. It must be brought under complete digital management. We will break the ongoing arrangement of buying and selling judgments based on bribery and corruption. This country will move forward only when justice is established in the state and society. This is the NCP's pledge. The governance system of Bangladesh must be rebuilt. The current administrative structure is still based on the old model created by British colonialism, where power is terribly centralized. In the prevailing governance culture of this country, political bureaucrats, unscrupulous business groups have maintained this centralized system. As a result, no decision is implemented at the local level without the approval of Dhaka, which hinders the pace of development, and the needs of the people are ignored. If most of the responsibilities like food, agriculture, textiles, housing, land management, education and training, health services, social welfare, environment and disaster management, women and children development, and local infrastructure services are transferred to the district level, the decision-making process will slow down. Programs will be taken and implemented according to the needs of the local people, and the people will get services. The central government will mainly handle major issues like defense, foreign policy, and national infrastructure. On the other hand, the district and municipal administration will ensure the daily services of the people. This is common in the administrative structures of developed countries. To implement the public representation system, elected leaders at the district and union levels will be given real power and will be brought under strict accountability. Free and fair elections will be ensured at every level. Candidates for the post of chairman of any level of local government must have a minimum of a bachelor's degree. Qualification. We want to build a state system where religious and ethnic identity will not be a reason for division, but will be based on mutual respect, coexistence, and independence. Our goal is a modern, balanced, and inclusive society where equal rights of citizens, their religious and cultural beliefs, and identities will take precedence. Equal security for all religions and ethnic groups. It will be ensured that no citizen, even if he is a minority, is subjected to discrimination or violence. The state will remain neutral in the application of the law. No division or discrimination will be accepted due to religious or ethnic identity. Our dream is to build a Bangladesh where people are valued not by their religion, caste, or ethnic identity, but as human beings and as citizens. A balanced state system. Bangladesh will never be Afghanistan. It will remain Bangladesh. A religiously liberal, moral society like Malaysia or Turkey can be exemplary. Religion will take the place of personal beliefs and socio-cultural practices, and the state will be run on the basis of law, justice, and fairness. Religious values and ethics can be helpful in running the state, ensuring freedom of dress. Every citizen will enjoy full freedom to choose clothes according to their beliefs, culture, and personal preferences. Just as a religious woman can wear a hijab or burqa, everyone else will have full freedom to wear modern clothes. The personal choice of the citizen will be paramount. The state will not impose any particular lifestyle. It will ensure the protection of individual freedom. Countering the apolitical politics of spreading fear. Today, a group is spreading panic again, saying that the country is moving towards extremism. The established vested interests that have fallen outside state power are presenting all these things in a new way. We believe that Bangladeshi society is tolerant and pluralistic. Effective legal and social initiatives will be taken against anti-hate policies and social harmony, religious hatred, ethnic hatred, or provocative propaganda. The values of mutual respect, honor, and tolerance will be promoted in education, cultural activities, and the media. Ensuring women's rights 100% will be one of the main commitments. We believe that women's safety must be ensured in the workplace, educational institutions, vehicles, public places, and even inside the home. Women will be given the opportunity to participate rationally at all levels, including government jobs, politics, the national parliament, and local government. A zero-tolerance policy will be adopted for all types of violence against women, including domestic violence and sexual harassment. There are examples from the past that can be followed. The government has been able to control horrific incidents like acid throwing through strict laws. Similarly, in the case of women's safety, if the existing laws are strictly implemented from the periphery to the center, such crimes will decrease. It is necessary to develop a culture of public resistance against violence against women. We will take strict steps against cyberbullying against women. We will take more initiatives for women's higher education, and measures will be taken so that women get more opportunities in politics, which was already in our proposal in the July Charter. Due to the lack of cooperation from other political parties, we could not implement it this time. There are health and medical buildings, doctors, but no services. No matter how much we hear stories of development in books and pens, the reality is completely different. On paper, there is no shortage of doctors and nurses in the country. There is no shortage of hospitals and clinics either. There are big buildings. There is also shiny modern equipment. But are the common people getting that service? Or is it still elusive? Because the health sector has become hostage to the culture of institutional looting, which has turned even a great profession like medical service into a dangerous commodity. From the gate of a government hospital to the counter, there is a web of traps everywhere. A circle of brokers surrounds the patient once he crosses the gate of a government hospital. In a country where free treatment is talked about, poor people have to count money even to push a trolley or get a seat in the ward. Medicines worth crores of takas are sent from the hospital centre, but when the patient goes to the counter and asks for it, there is no supply. That medicine is sold outside through the back door. When a patient comes to the hospital hoping to survive, the test trade starts instead of treatment. MRI or CT scan machines worth crores of rupees remain in packets for months or are given excuses for being damaged. The only purpose is to send patients to commission-based private clinics. A long list of unnecessary tests is given for no reason. At the end of the day, the middle class and poor people are left with nothing, but they do not get the desired service. At the moment, our main duty is to fix the hospital management and eliminate corruption rather than increasing the number of new hospitals, because the state does not have the money to waste. The problem is not in brick and stone buildings, but in the lack of accountability in management. The main demand of the time is to ensure corruption-free use of existing resources rather than spending thousands of crores of taka to build new buildings. We want to take a tough decision to break this stagnant system. No doctor, nurse, or health worker employed in government service will be able to do private practice outside. We want to assure the people that the best specialist doctors in the country will sit in government hospitals after their work day and arrange for government-scheduled visits to see patients. We want to break this culture of looting government resources. We want to build a health system where the word medical treatment means ensuring service. Education is impossible without dedicated teachers. Reforms are needed in almost every sector in Bangladesh. However, the sector whose crisis is the most obvious for our nation is the education sector. This sector has been extremely neglected since independence. Today, our entire knowledge acquisition system is in disarray due to irregularities and corruption in education. Since independence, the ruling party has basically meant the development of education as the construction of new infrastructure. Budget after budget has been passed. The main incentive behind increasing the number of schools, colleges, and universities was to increase the money supply through corruption. From infrastructure construction to maintenance, the picture is the same everywhere. Thousands of teachers have been appointed, a large part of whom are selected through recommendations, lobbying, and recruitment trade. Today, when we look at our educational institutions, we see nothing but a terrible decline in the quality of education. This did not happen in a day. Due to political influence and corruption of local opportunistic groups over the years, the country's educational institutions have become centers of corruption. From primary schools to government schools, colleges, universities, technical education institutions, diploma engineering colleges, or national universities, the same crisis is everywhere. Teachers are not interested in teaching. They are busy with various types of irregularities. They have made the coaching trade their main profession. Teachers at all levels are divided by party political interests and sides and waste their time in such misdeeds. Improving the quality of research and education is no longer their goal, but their priority is the competition to become the trust of those in power. In this situation, our goal is not to build more buildings and infrastructure. Rather, to establish an effective and accountable education system. Teachers must be skilled, competent, and aware of their responsibilities. Teachers' salaries, allowances, and benefits will be increased to make it a prestigious profession. But at the same time, they will be brought under strict supervision. Responsible and competent teachers will be rewarded, and those who neglect their duties will be given immediate employment contracts. Our new settlement will see an education reform where development does not mean adding new buildings and infrastructure. Rather, existing educational institutions will be developed into centers for providing quality education in the true sense. An important part of the education system is the madrasa system. We will take measures to modernize both the Qawmi and Aliyah types of madrasa systems and move them forward. Agricultural development is the new basis of food security by ensuring the fair rights of farmers. The government controls the distribution system of various agricultural inputs, including fertilizers, seeds. But due to local looting groups, these inputs often do not reach the real and marginal farmers. We will ensure that no syndicate or looting group can take the authority of marketing fertilizers and seeds into their own hands and collect higher prices from the farmers. There is an agricultural loan system for Bangladeshi farmers. In this regard, there are two government institutions like the specialized Bangladesh Krishi Bank and Rajshahi Krishi Unnayan Bank. But the very sad reality is that in many cases, these loans do not reach the real farmers. Farmers have to be harassed in the name of land documents, ID cards, and various documents when they go to take agricultural loans. Officials are forced to bribe to get the loan money. Due to these complications and irregularities, the real farming community is deprived of agricultural loans. If the NCP gets the opportunity to form the government or becomes a partner in the government, all kinds of harassment and irregularities in the name of papers in the loan process will be stopped. Agricultural loans will be made easily available, God willing. The farmers of this country are the most neglected. They are not getting fair price for their produce. When the price of a kilogram of vegetables has skyrocketed in the market, the farmers are selling the same product at the price of water at the field level. The price of fertilizer has increased. Instead of the farmers' wages and profits after their hard work, they will be burdened with loans. In many cases, frustrated farmers are sometimes forced to destroy their crops. This is not only a waste of crops, it has become a shameful reality for our national economy. On the other hand, it is becoming increasingly difficult for the common middle class and lower class people to buy daily necessities. Farmers are not getting this extra money. The unscrupulous syndicate controlling the middle path is controlling the market. The unscrupulous syndicate controlling the middle path is controlling this market. On one hand, farmers are deprived of fair prices. On the other hand, consumers have to bear the pressure of high prices. And in the middle, the middlemen, political touts, extortionists, terrorists, and dishonest members of the law enforcement agencies are looting profits. This cycle has created an artificial crisis and taken the market hostage. The main problem is the faulty distribution system. Farmers are trapped in this system due to the lack of direct marketing opportunities. This corruption chain that has taken over from the remote fields to the central market will be broken. The grand festival of lanterns of state resources in the power and energy sector. As you know, the notorious immunity law of the murderer Hasina was repealed last year. But the unfortunate reality is that even though the law was repealed, the slavery contracts made under that law are still sucking the blood of our economy and people. Still, $5 billion, or 63,000 crore taka, have to be handed over to these looters every year. The killer Hasina government had arranged the contracts in such a way that even if it does not produce electricity, it continues to fill the pockets of its support group. In the last 18 months, due to bureaucratic complications and legal battles, it has not been possible to break that cycle. Years after years of anti-national policies, opaque contracts and institutional corruption have made the power and energy sector a burden on the people. Even if they do not produce electricity, these have to pay money to the state. This system of looting is called capacity charge in polite language. It means that the country is paying crores of taka even if it does not buy electricity. We want to clearly say that no more money will be given to these anti-national companies for unproduced and undelivered electricity with the people's tax money. All unequal contracts against the people's interests will be re-evaluated. System losses will be reduced by taking urgent steps, including closing illegal connections in the gas and electricity sectors. We have had dramas for years in the name of oil and gas extraction in the Bay of Bengal. We want an end to that drama. If we get the responsibility of running the government, we will take initiatives to extract oil and gas in the sea border. In the long term, the country's electricity and energy security policy, formulation and system will be one of the goals of the NCP. Employment, fair wages, and the interests of expatriate workers will be given priority. Whenever elections are held in the country, various kinds of jokes start about the unemployed. Some promise free allowances, some talk about new employment opportunities, but there is no discussion about the root cause of unemployment and how a sustainable solution to this crisis is possible. The main reason for unemployment in Bangladesh is the lack of sufficient employment compared to the manpower. And one of the reasons for the lack of employment is the very unfriendly or hostile investment policy and behavior. The ruling political and government officials and employees create massive obstacles and dangers to investment without bribes and personal benefits, blocking the possibility of employment. Investors are diverted by disrupting the supply of fuel to industries and creating a shortage of raw materials. As a result, new industries are not established. This affects the economic growth potential. Our main goal will be to make Bangladesh the most investment-friendly country in South Asia so that the confidence of domestic and foreign investors returns and any investment becomes easier. At the same time, the existing industrial sector must be protected so that not a single industrial factory is closed and more new employment opportunities are created. Every year, millions of people migrate abroad in the hope of employment, but to go abroad, people have to sell their land and houses and provide huge amounts of money. The cost of speaking from Bangladesh is 5 to 6 times higher than in India, Nepal, or Sri Lanka. Behind this is a wrong policy and a very active mafia circle supported by political parties and bureaucrats. They are artificially controlling the entire process, including visa crisis, various complications in the way of speeches and ship rentals, and collecting money as they wish. If the NCP gets the opportunity to form the government, this evil syndicate will be broken and going abroad will be made easy, transparent, and affordable. Our goal is that people who want to go abroad can leave safely in a short time and at low cost. Our main goal is to build a safe, orderly, and humane transport system by eliminating the chaos, and irregularities existing in the current communication system of the country. If we get the responsibility of running the government, no roads will be closed for the movement of any minister or high-ranking official. The right of movement of the common people will be paramount on roads built with the tax money of the people. Emergency services, especially ambulances and fire services, will get the highest priority. There will be no separate transport system for government officials. Everyone will have to use public transport. Ministers will have to travel by public transport at least 1 day a week, and secretaries at least 2 days a week. Those responsible for running the state will have to experience the reality of public life. This will be the government's program to establish a new culture. Government investment in other transport systems, including the introduction of modern bus services, will be prioritized. Quality public transport will be ensured on every route so that the common man saves time and money. Special concessions in transport and reserved seats for students, disabled and senior citizens will be strictly ensured. Vehicles with mechanical defects will be removed from the road and driving licenses will be issued in a transparent and corruption-free process. Illegal extortion and black market in the transport sector will be strictly suppressed to ensure fair fares. The ticketing system will be made transparent and corruption-free, so that train travel is easily available to the common man. The auction-based opaque system in airfares will be stopped. If we want to build a beautiful society, all people will have to be sensitive to discipline, security, and the convenience and inconvenience of others. Walking at the risk of life. We will have to bring society out of the culture of crossing the road everywhere. We encourage everyone to obey traffic laws and cooperate with the authorities to restore order in the movement of vehicles and people on roads and highways. We will build a blue economy around the borders of the Bay of Bengal, and we will realize our fair share in the Bay of Bengal according to the will of the people. We will create an important center of our national wealth centered around the Bay of Bengal. We will also develop our environment and climate to suit future generations and the future of Bangladesh. We will take measures for climate refugees. We will arrange for an environmental tax so that we can reduce environmental pollution. Dear countrymen, we took to the streets in the July mass uprising with the intention of a new dream and a new Bangladesh. You also took to the streets. As a result of our collective efforts, we are able to speak today. What we have been saying for so long is our dream of a future Bangladesh. If you give us a chance, we will be able to realize that dream if Allah wills it. You have seen in the last 1.5 years that who opposed reforms, who opposed the establishment of new settlements, who wanted to cling to the old economic and political system. Dear countrymen, we want the politics of change, the politics of reform. Our aim is to establish Bangladesh as a just state free from corruption, discrimination, and hegemony. For that purpose, we, 11 parties, are participating in the elections together. 30 candidates from different parts of the country are participating in the elections under the banner of our National Citizen Party, NCP. I appeal to you and request you to give the young generation a chance. Give the politics of change a chance. On February 12, you have an opportunity. You will choose the politics of change or the old politics. We believe that the people of Bangladesh want change, want reforms. We have disappointment, anger, inexperience, and limitations. We are acknowledging everything. We are asking you for another chance. In this election, you should support the National Citizens Party, NCP, and the 11-party alliance. If the 11-party alliance wins the next election, we will be able to establish the Bangladesh of change, the Bangladesh of justice that we talked about. Our brother Sharif Osman Hadi dreamed of such a Bangladesh. He had to meet martyrdom in a tragic way. We will definitely ensure justice for the murder of Sharif Osman Hadi. We will ensure justice for the murderers of July. And of course, a referendum is going to be held with the next election. You know that you will definitely vote yes in that landslide. By voting yes, you will continue the trend of reforms in Bangladesh. On February 12, the young people of this country will have to take responsibility again. Because we think that if February 12 fails, if there is no fair election on February 12, then the August 5 revolution will fail. Consequently, to make August 5 a success, to take forward the achievements and aspirations of August 5, we must be able to organize a fair election on February 12. There is no alternative to fair elections. Consequently, I appeal to all of you, the young people of Bangladesh, the women of Bangladesh, and the general public of Bangladesh, to come to the polling stations early in the morning on February 12. We will be at the polling stations to protect your voting rights, to re-establish democracy, and to establish justice. We promise you that no one will be able to take away your voting rights. If Allah wills it, after February 12, we will have a new Bangladesh. This election is a continuation of the July uprising. Let us not forget this. The sacrifices of thousands of our brothers and sisters of the July uprising are the responsibility of the families of the martyrs. Keeping in mind the pain of our wounded warriors, let us all participate in the February 12 elections. You will vote for us. We will work for you. If Allah wills it, together we will move forward in the work of building a new Bangladesh. Peace be upon you.